Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're firing up the time machine and setting the dial for the 1990s. This was a truly revolutionary decade for cars. We saw the rise of Japanese performance, the last hurrah for some analog supercars, and the birth of icons that still get our hearts racing today. So grab your flannel shirt, put on your favorite grunge CD, and let's dive into some of the absolute best cars of the 90s. First up, we have to talk about the beast from the East, the Nissan Skyline GT-R R32. When this car hit the scene in 1989, it didn't just move the goalposts, it tore them down. Dubbed Godzilla by the Australian press, the R32 dominated everything it touched, especially on the racetrack. Its RB26 DETT twin-turbo inline-six engine was a masterpiece, officially rated at 276 horsepower due to a gentleman's agreement. But everyone knew it was packing way more. Combined with the advanced Atessa ETS all-wheel drive system, it was a technological marvel that could corner like it was on rails. For many, this car defined the start of the golden era of Japanese performance. It wasn't just fast, it was a legend in the making. Of course, you can't mention the 90s without talking about the Mazda Miata, the NA generation. In a world that was getting bigger and more complex, the Miata was a breath of fresh air. It was a simple, lightweight, rear-wheel drive roadster that brought back the spirit of classic British sports cars, but with one crucial difference. It was reliable. It wasn't the fastest car on the block, but that was never the point. The Miata was all about the pure joy of driving, the feeling of the wind in your hair, the flickable handling, and that perfect shifter feel. It proved that you don't need 1,000,000 horsepower to have $1 million smile. It was an instant classic and remains one of the best-selling sports cars of all time for a very good reason. Now, let's shift gears to something a little more extreme, the Dodge Viper. This thing was pure, unapologetic American muscle. When it debuted in 1992, it looked like a concept car that had escaped from a motor show. It had no roof, no side windows, and absolutely no electronic aids. No traction control, no ABS, just you and a monstrous 8.0-liter V10 engine originally designed for a truck. It was raw, it was intimidating, and frankly, a little bit scary. The side exit exhausts would burn your leg if you weren't careful, but for those who could tame it, the Viper offered one of the most visceral and unforgettable driving experiences ever. It was a true sledgehammer of a car. Across the pond in Japan, Honda was busy creating something truly special, the Acura NSX, or Honda NSX, depending on where you lived. This was the car that made Ferrari and Lamborghini sit up and take notice. Developed with input from the legendary Formula One driver Ayrton Senna, the NSX was a mid-engine supercar designed for everyday usability. It featured an all-aluminum body, a first for a production car, and a high-revving V6 with VTEC technology. It was fast, handled beautifully, and you could actually see out of it. Plus, it started every single time. The NSX proved that a supercar could be both thrilling and dependable, changing the game forever. Speaking of Ferrari, we have to mention the F355. After the somewhat divisive 348, Ferrari needed a winner, and boy, did they deliver. The F355, launched in 1994, is often regarded as one of the most beautiful and best-sounding Ferraris ever made. Its 3.5-liter V8 featured a new 5-valve per-cylinder head, allowing it to scream all the way to an 8,500 RPM redline. That sound, especially with an aftermarket exhaust, is pure automotive opera. It was also the first road car to be offered with an F1-style paddle-shift gearbox, a technology that would soon become standard on high-performance cars. The F355 was elegant, fast, and an absolute joy to drive. Let's head back to Japan for another titan, the A80 Toyota Supra. You know the one. Made famous by movies and video games, the fourth-generation Supra was a technical powerhouse. Its claim to fame was the legendary 2JZ GTE twin-turbo inline-6 engine. This motor was so overbuilt from the factory that tuners quickly found it could handle insane amounts of power with relative ease. A stock twin-turbo Supra was already a seriously fast car, but its true legacy is its god-tier status in the tuning community. With its futuristic styling and incredible performance potential, the A80 Supra cemented its place as one of the all-time greats of the 90s. Meanwhile, Germany was producing its own brand of performance. The E36 BMW M3 is a perfect example. While the American version was a bit tamer than its European counterpart, it was still a phenomenal driver's car. It offered a perfect balance of performance, handling, and daily usability. The inline-6 engine was smooth and responsive, the chassis was communicative, and the steering was telepathic. The E36 M3 wasn't about winning drag races, it was about mastering a winding back road. It was the kind of car that just felt right, a true ultimate driving machine that was attainable for many enthusiasts. You could get it as a coupe, a sedan, or even a convertible. Of course, we can't forget the rally legend, the Subaru Impreza 22B STI. Built in 1998 to celebrate Subaru's 40th anniversary and their third consecutive manufacturer's title in the World Rally Championship, the 22B was the ultimate Impreza. With its wide-body fenders taken directly from the WRC car, gold wheels, and giant rear wing, it looked the part. Its boxer engine was officially 2.2 liters, and it delivered brutal acceleration. Only around 400 were made for the Japanese market, making it incredibly rare and sought after. The 22B was a road-going rally car in the purest sense, a raw and focused machine for die-hard fans. And then there was the king, the McLaren F1, Gordon Murray's vision of the ultimate road car. Debuting in 1992, it was unlike anything the world had ever seen. A central driving position, a chassis made of carbon fiber, and even a gold-lined engine bay for heat reflection. At its heart was a naturally aspirated 6.1-liter V12 from BMW, producing over 600 horsepower. With no turbos and no all-wheel drive, it was pure, unadulterated performance. It held the record for the world's fastest production car for over a decade, topping out at 240 miles per hour. The McLaren F1 wasn't just a car, it was a statement. It was automotive perfection and remains, for many, the greatest supercar ever built. Finally, let's look at another icon, the Porsche 911 of the 993 generation. This was a special one for Porsche fans, as it was the last of the air-cooled 911s. It represented the end of an era. The 993 is often considered the best of the classic 911s, blending the traditional air-cooled character with more modern performance and refinement. The styling was a beautiful evolution of the classic shape, with smoother lines and a more muscular stance. The turbo model, with its all-wheel drive and twin turbos, was a monster, a true widowmaker tamed. The 993 was the pinnacle of air-cooled development, a masterpiece of engineering, and a perfect send-off for a beloved powertrain. The 90s gave us so many incredible machines, a perfect blend of analog feel and emerging technology. From reliable Japanese sports cars to untamed American beasts and sophisticated European supercars, this decade had it all. What are your favorite cars from the 90s? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.